Hi, hello. I am Lisa Bounds, and I am part of the PCA board. I do a lot of our marketing, and I got really involved with PCA, I guess it was about a year ago, and I had never presented before, and then decided to go for it. I was a little nervous, hadn't really done any of it before, but I was encouraged by another member of the community to take part, and they just spoke so highly of this community. And I have absolutely fallen in love with this community. I've learned so much. I've made so many great connections, and I can't speak highly enough of it. And I jumped on the opportunity to share how to pitch a session with everyone, because I think it's such a valuable opportunity, and it's such a great opportunity to also share your experiences with other people, because you all have so much expertise and other people need to hear what you have to say. So that's what we're going to get into today, is learning from one another. And then Dan, would you say a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So Dan Corbin, I am an executive product leadership advisor with Pragmatic, and I got that job. A big part of it was because of Product Camp. Going out, showing what you know, sharing what you know, being able to show that you can facilitate good discussions is a big part of being a product manager. And because they had seen me present, they thought I would be a good fit, and they recruited me for that role. And I absolutely loved my job. So I owe it to Product Camp. And before we started recording and telling about Lisa's sordid history, I talked about how I overcame my fear of public speaking because of Product Camp. And it's been a really amazing experience, and I owe so much to Product Camp. And so Lisa and I, we know a lot about this, what makes for a good presentation. Between the two of us, we've won best session or runner-up a total of 10 times. In fact, Lisa has won an award every single time she has presented. So we know what it takes to make for a presentation that people will really value. So let's just dive right into it.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so first of all, here's what we're going to be getting into today. We're going to talk to you about how to understand the format of just the unconference itself so that you understand how everything is selected. We'll talk to you about how to shape your idea and how to craft your pitch. And from there, we'll do a little bit of workshopping as well if you brought some ideas in with you today. So let's go. So first of all, if you are not familiar with Product Camp Austin, it is a free community organized unconference for product people. And we call it an unconference because unlike typical conferences, we don't have a keynote speaker. You don't have to pay anything. Tickets are free. If you want to donate, great. We would love it. We're a nonprofit. Help us out. But all of the content is completely sourced from you guys. The sessions are proposed and they're selected by the attendees on the day of the event. And only the ideas that are voted on by the people in attendance end up making it into the unconference itself. So, we might have, let's say 30, 40 sessions submitted, but if the attendees, are hyper-focused and they vote in 20 that they really are passionate about and want to see, then those are the ones we're going to see that day. So it's very much peer driven. And that's what's really cool about it. So again, kind of touched on that. The sessions are very much chosen by the community, and that starts in the morning. So right when you come in, anyone can pitch. We're not going to be like, oh, you only have a year of experience in product, so you can't pitch. Because here's the thing, it doesn't matter if you have 30 years experience, a year experience, everybody has something that could be bringing to the table. Real conversations are the things that are really going to resonate. We're looking for, things that are going to facilitate discussion, and hearing from real people who have experienced real things out in the product, minefield. That's going to be what really resonates with the crowd. And so those are some of the things we'll get into. And I do want to touch on who is the product community. At first I was a little nervous about it because I'm a product marketer, but I am part of the PCA community because it's not just for product managers. It's for product marketers. It's for UX designers, UI designers, founders, data analysts. If you touch product in any way, this is for you. And, the more people we have from those different functions that touch product, the better conversations that we tend to have. Dan, you want to add anything there?
Yeah, and again, really anybody can pitch. When we literally had high schoolers, college people pitch because they have something compelling to share that everyone can learn from. I've had students that, I've said, you've got so much great experience, you should present. They're like, I haven't even had a product role yet. And I said, yeah, but you have information, you have knowledge, you have skills that people can learn from. So I've gone and co-presented with them because I'm like, this is something that you have skills that I don't have, but together we can put something together. So what you're going to see is it doesn't have to be a straightforward presentation. I've done panel discussions. There's all different formats to choose from. And we really love when people come together with these kind of unique approaches and unique ideas. As you'll see, the more kind of unique take you have with your ideas and what you want to share, the more likely you're going to be able to get selected and get a great response. It's all about what is the value you can deliver? What is the takeaways that people from your session are going to have? And when you go and people choose, everyone's going to be able to vote, and they get to vote on 3 sessions. And honestly, most of the time, the vast majority of people who pitch end up getting selected.
And there's one other thing I want to make sure to highlight too, because I feel like this is something really affecting the tech space and a lot of our product people too. If you are currently not employed, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't pitch. The first time I pitched, I was not employed. I was actively interviewing. When you are not employed, your expertise, your knowledge, that doesn't go away. You still have valuable things to contribute. And that is so important that you not forget that. And this is a great opportunity and platform for you to be putting yourself out there. So I do really want to drive that point home too. Very passionate about that one.
Sonia, who's on the call, is a great example of that. I've asked Sonia to present a couple times at the product league because she has amazing expertise in different areas of product. And she put on a great presentation about like her kind of journey in the job search. And it was really helpful for people, not only, to learn about different aspects of product, but to improve their job search. So that's a really, really great point.
100% agree. So again, we touched on this. Your experience is absolutely enough. You don't need to be walking in here with some like fully vetted McKinsey packaged case study. The sessions that people remember the most are those really honest stories. It's your experience brought to life. And, if you had a particularly messy launch or a crazy hard pivot or, a cross-functional collaboration that went off the rails, there are learnings there. People learn the most from failures. So think about that as well and bring that in. Or you may have had an outstanding success that across the board, everyone was like, oh my God, you're amazing. Bow down. Bring that in too. We want to learn from you, especially if you have one of those, because my God, we all aim for that.
Yep. There was a best session winner, Darren Smith, who has actually, he ended up taking some product management classes at General Assembly. That's where I got to know him when I was a teacher there. And he was a failed sports agent. And he applied the lessons of product management to his failed sports agency. So he was talking about the failures and in his presentation. And it was so well done. And there were so many great learnings from it and takeaways for the people. He won best session. I had a presentation one time failing my way across the lean canvas, where if I had known about the lean canvas, I would have prevented myself from so much heartache. And I gave examples in every single box of how I screwed up. And if I had, known these best practices, I would have done a much better job as a product manager. So all of those failures, again, are lessons. Everybody fails as a product manager. That's how you get better. Definitely, I just want to reinforce that message.
And from a marketing standpoint, like we look at failures, a lot of times we like to put a spin on it because we're marketers, and we like to call them testing and iterating. So there you go. So where your wonderful ideas can come from, they can come from those challenges you face, lessons you've learned the hard way, situations in real teams face. My first ever session that I did was over navigating I was in a layoff, and I was very much wanting to find a job soon, but I wanted to speed things up a bit. And I had gotten really into AI, and this was before everywhere you went was AI, EIAIO. And so I created a GPT essentially that was built all about me. It had my resume built into the back end. It had my, my Clifton Strength Finder stuff built into the back end, all of this stuff, because I was also getting really tired of saying, rewrite this cover letter, blah, blah, blah. And so I built everything into the back end so that I could do things more quickly. And I knew that when I came in, that most everyone that was going to be there has applied for a job at some point. So that was kind of what I was thinking about how it might be relevant. And then other things I've done is, thinking about like how, when we're the product, how do we present ourselves in, interviewing or putting ourselves in this particular job market. So that's an angle I've taken with my sessions. Dan, what about you? Some of these you want to speak to?
I think about the conversations I'm having with other product people, and the questions we're asking each other. And what I do is I use Product Camp as an opportunity to go out and learn and to deep dive and to challenge myself. So Pavan and I are presenting on Claude Code, Claude Cowork, Claude Skills, and just Claude in general. Why would you be interested in it? What is all the hype about? How can it help you as a product manager or someone who is just looking for their next opportunity? So we're going to kind of demystify it, show you how easy it is to use, make sure everyone feels comfortable using it, and just kind of bring down any barriers to entry that people might feel they have with it, and just really show all of the capabilities. And within 45 minutes, people are going to be able to, we want them leaving excited to go out and be like, oh my gosh, I need to go try that. And we're going to give them all of the resources they need to get up and running and do some pretty cool shit. So how I need to get my butt in gear, because I use Claude and I'm kind of good at it, but I need to get much better to get up there and present in front of people. Fortunately, Pavan's pretty awesome at this. So I got him to kind of make me look a lot better. But, again, it's a way to challenge myself to, all right, there is a little bit of fake it till you make it, right?
It's not only that. I mean, you're being modest, Dan, here. But one thing which resonated with me, sorry for interrupting the flow, Lisa.
No, go for it.
You're good.
Public speaking anxieties, I'm one of it. Always get the feedback. Dan and I are also co-workers earlier at HEB. So you have innovative solutions, you're building all these things, but where I'm do a better job, don't want to use a negative word, is communication, presenting the innovative ideas, innovations, and all those things, what we're doing. So I feel like there's an opportunity to improve my skills and then also project myself in front of people and learn from Dan, his awesome presentation skills. Yes.
Yeah, it's a mutual benefit benefiting situation we got going on here.
They call that a symbiotic relationship, mutualism.
They do, yeah.
Yep.
Just like in nature.
Yep. So here's one of the key things that everybody should think about as you're prepping a pitch. we publish all of the pitches that have been submitted directly on the PCA website. And we highly recommend that before you submit your session idea, that you take a look at what's already been submitted and proposed. That's what I did last year. My first year was very AI. I say last year, we have 2 a year, but my first PCA, what I did was very AI. My second PCA, I looked in there and almost every session was AI. And I was also going to present this time with a partner, one of my frequent collaborators, Ellen Cox. And we both looked at it and we were like, we're going to get lost in this if we go AI. And so we decided to take a step back and think, what could we do that'll be different than what everyone else is doing? And we had this side hustle that we do. We have a group called CollabX, and what we do is a lot of support for job seekers and job pivoters, because we became very passionate about that when we both experienced a layoff. So as you can see, that AI thing I did, like, it really spun up. Like, I got really pumped about it. But we decided to present when you're the product and talk all about how to go about when you're the product out in the market and in this particular market. And that was our angle that we went with. And it paid off. We ended up runner up. Dan beat us out. You know, what can we say? It's hard when you've got a veteran, like, you know, A+ student out there. But it went really well. And it was a lot of fun to do. But, you know, if you're seeing other people zigging, then you've got to zag. And Dan, I know you've spoken, you and I've talked a lot about that. So can you go a little bit more with that?
Yeah. So again, there was I looked at the board. I mean, if you go to productcampaustin.org, you can see the submitted sessions. So, you know, the human gap in AI products. I like this because it said, hey, human skills are still the most important. Again, we have one on product marketing. APIs. Okay, if you're not familiar, Swagger, that might be interesting because that's API documentation. Reverse engineering is pretty cool. Again, you can see this is aligning inputs, outputs, results. Basically, you know what? I'm going to do a little bit of a critique here. This is a long title. You want to get like grab people's attention. You got to like have like something. We don't want to say clickbaity, but you have to really, people have to know instantly what value they're going to get from attending. This is all about the impact product managers are going to be making in the AI era. A hackathon, very cool. So when I've looked through, there was one that again was just AI filled. So I said, okay, I'm going to go back to the basics, and I picked a topic I was very passionate about, which is psychological safety. And how do you establish it? What do you do if there's not psychological safety? How do you set up psychological safety assessments? How can you, even if you're not the manager, start to change that within your teams? And I gave lots of concrete examples so people could actually go and start, you know, shifting that and improving that on their teams. And again, that did really well. And I ended up winning for that, because it was completely different. Literally every other presentation that day was on AI. So I really was able to stand out. So this is a really important thing. Know what's out there and be able to say, hey, here's something that, you know, you might not learn somewhere else.
So really important to, oh, no, you're good. Keep going. So again, if everyone's talking about AI, go ahead and zig. And we talked through all of that. So right here, now let's get into the 30-second Shark Tank pitch. And this is probably the part that makes everybody the most nervous, but honestly, it's kind of fun. You get it up there. When you get to PCA, they're going to call everyone who submitted a session up to the front. And Arturo, our president, is going to get up there. He's going to have his little timer. We've been trying to convince him to get a gong so he can just like when people are done, but you know, we haven't purchased the gong yet. Yeah. But you know, it hasn't happened yet. I think it'd be great. But you do your pitch, you are timed. When your time is up, goes to the next person. So it is very Shark Tank style. It's very fast. If you come up there and you don't come with energy, the crowd's not going to feel that energy either. You've got to come in with energy, but you've also got to think like you would if you were about to bring a product to market. You need to think, who is my audience? What do they want? How is what I'm bringing going to benefit them? You don't just want to talk about the features. You want to talk about the benefits. What are the benefits to your audience? So that first year I pitched, I walked up, and I'll be honest, I hadn't figured out my pitch. I hadn't planned my pitch until I was standing in that line. I had no idea what I was going to do because I didn't think I even knew that this was how it worked. So I was like, oh crap. And so I walked up and I was like, okay, I got this. I walked up and I said, hey, everybody, who in here has ever applied for a job? Knowing full well every hand in that room was going to go up. So I immediately engaged them and I said, wonderful. And how many of you found it to just be absolutely exhausting and stressful? And a lot of people kept their hands up. And then I was like, and how many of you hate work day? Because almost everyone hates work day. And then that allowed me to go, yeah, me too. And, you know, when you're looking for a job, it's really stressful. And so even if you're not looking for a job right now, at some point you will be. And I want to show you a way to speed that up and to make it go faster. I built an AI assistant that can help do that. It'll help you produce resumes and cover letters more quickly. And it's based on information about you. So it's all customized. And it'll give you outputs that are ATS specific. So that got me in. And so that's what you want to do. You want to get in. So Dan, any thoughts on the Shark Tank pitch?
I mean, I think you nailed it. You have to show the value that you're going to deliver. And for me, I did a presentation on AI operations and AI product operations, the best job you haven't heard of yet. Because I knew that there's oftentimes two main audiences. You have your product people and you also have your job seekers. And I was really trying to deliver value for both, because I see every day as an executive advisor, this hole in companies that they're trying to fill. And this is something, so I had 3 goals. I wanted that audience to recognize that this presentation was for them. I also wanted to show that this is something I'm incredibly passionate about and that I know a lot about because I work with executives every single week. And there's going to be lots of takeaways. You're going to be able to know exactly what you need to do to start making headway in this brand new field that's opening up so that you can be a first mover in it. So I had those 3 specific things that I wanted to get across, and I was very succinct. And I ended way before 30 seconds because if you go over and the timer has gone off, it's really awkward and you're still going on.
Yeah.
The audience is just like, ooh, it's ever been at a wedding when someone gives a horrible best man speech? It's that same uncomfortable feeling. Get up there, be succinct, finish in time, and people are going to be like, yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yes. It honestly, it makes everyone uncomfortable when you go over.
Yeah, it really does.
Don't be that guy. So again, key things to think about. Make sure you've got a good hook. How are you going to draw them in? That you are presenting your topic within that. Give them an idea of what your format's going to be in your session. Like if you're doing a panel, if you are co-presenting, if you're going to do a roundtable or some sort of workshop, like for example, there's the one that's a hackathon on there. They would want to make sure to, mention that their format is a hackathon. So if people are like, oh, am I going to be able to use my phone, or I didn't bring my computer or something like that, like making sure to provide that kind of information so people are prepared. And then you've got your call to action, vote for this. You want to make sure to tell them to vote for you.
Yes.
That's so important.
Yeah. If you feel that this would be helpful for you, I'd love your vote for session. And then say, because what they're going to do is they're going to give all of these a number. Like this is going to be 1, this is going to be 2. And that's how it's going to show up. It's going to show random on this app. Everyone's going to vote on their phone. So you want to say, and be like, if these are the takeaways, would benefit you, I'd love your vote for a session 12. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't beg. Don't come across as desperate. Say, hey, I come across as, hey, I would love to be able to help you. That's what wins people over. When you feel like you're pandering or you come across as self-interested rather than, hey, I would love to be able to share with you what I learned, then that's what connects. Yep.
You want to come across as relatable. Like, I didn't walk up there and be like, I know everything about searching for a job, because if I knew that, I'd have had one by then, but I did not.
Yeah.
So you want to be relatable. Like, you want to say, you and I have these things in common. Come over here. So yeah, bring them into you. So
yeah, everybody, if you can, admit your own, like if you're not a product person, unless you've got some sort of, what do they call it? Well, you do a little bit of fake it till you make it, but you also have, what is it called? Where you feel like, I shouldn't be here.
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. Yes. And there's 5 different parts of 5 different types of imposter syndrome. I'm part superpower. I'm part like the expert. So, and I know exactly what part, what type of imposter syndrome I have. But if you admit that and you're like, other people are like, oh yeah, I kind of feel that way too. Every product manager does. So when you show that vulnerability and you're like, I don't claim to be a know-it-all. If you claim to be a know-it-all, everyone's gonna be like, this guy.
Yeah.
No one wants that.
Yeah. Too much ego will get you a boot to the door.
Yep.
Not by us, but by attendees. They'll be like, your room will be lonely. So yeah, generic sessions, you might get like some polite attendance, but the more specificity and, if there's an opinionated angle, like you're going to get people to show up. I mean, I was at a PCA at one year that it was, I won't be too specific in my description, but it was a very unusual angle. And it took a very strong stance about the direction of product management in general and where it was going as a function. And I think quite a few people were just curious to see where this was going to go. And so that is a great angle. You could take that angle. That isn't,
If you want to go full humor,
to say. Yeah. Make sure you have something to say.
Yeah. Now, the one caveat is you can't go too specific on something technical, because you're going to lose people. But, I love the thing, you have to kind of, again, being specific means you're going to have something unique to say. Having an opinion is going to make it more interesting.
Yes.
Don't be wishy-washy. Say, hey, this is why I believe this. And it's also going to spark discussion. And it's going to allow you to facilitate discussion in the room.
Yes, exactly. And some back and forth dialogue, which, that's great. Love that.
Yeah. And again, we're not looking to be controversial. We're not looking for hot takes. We're just looking for, hey, this is based on my experience.
A perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is a good way to think about it. You want to look for, where your experience lives and where the audience challenges live and where is that common ground, because that's where your session is going to be born from. Those shared pain points between those two and the actionable insights that you can draw from them. Somewhere in the middle, that is the story and that is the session that you want to bring to life. So think through those, your experience, the audience challenges, where is that commonality that you can really drill down into?
Yep. And you'll notice that second to last sentence says you're facilitating a conversation with them. Look for spots in your presentation to involve people.
Yes.
Now, getting people involved is good, but you're going to have to manage the audience because you are going to get people who are just want to hear themselves talk. And that can be difficult. And I had, have had times where I've had to kind of politely shut people down to get, because they're going off on tangents and I've had to bring it back in. So you do have to, but this is why you do these things, to get good at it. When I first started, those tangents would go on and I would lose control of my presentation. But when you do this more, you get good and be like, you know what? We're not talking about that. Let's get back to, we're going to bring it back to the topic at hand. That's a whole other presentation. And you learn these tips and tricks, but you do want to engage the audience. That's what they like. If you're just going to go up there and kind of talk to them, That's not what they want. When you engage with them, when you facilitate a conversation, plus, honestly, that's the skills that you're going to need going forward. That's AI is not going to facilitate an entire discussion in a room. You are. That's something that you uniquely can do. So I love this part down here because that's really what makes for a great session.
Yeah, that is very true. And there's easy ways you can do that too without necessarily giving over the floor. Think about ways that you can build in like small surveys with QR codes, like things like that. There's really great ways to like get engagement from your audience without necessarily having someone that ends up like monopolizing a lot of your go time. And there's easy like kind of redirections you can use. You can say things like, hey, you know what? I love your energy. I'm going to have a Q&A section at the end. I'd love to like circle us back to that then. Or that I'm loving where you're going. Let's talk offline about that because I do have limited time and the next session is going to be right behind me. And I do, while we're on that, I want to caution everyone, be mindful of the time. Like your session is 30 minutes and the next person comes in right after you. And if you go over, you are eating into their time and people will be lining up ready to come into the next session. And so you're then eating into their time, which bleeds over into the next time. So be very mindful of the time and shut those like bleed overs down.
Yeah, absolutely. Wrap it up on time. Also, if you do have those people that are, monopolizing time, just be like, all right, well, actually, let's put that in the parking lot, or let's hear from some other people in the room who haven't had a chance. There's lots of different ways, and it's good to actually practice those and get good at
it. Again, a few different things that are going to make your session stand out. We've talked a lot about having an angle. We've talked a lot about relevance, honing in more on that connection piece, making sure that you are being human and honest and relatable. Let them see that, you are a fellow practitioner. You don't have to just come in and be like, I am the expert in the room. You may be the expert in the room, but you also should show them that you are in the product trenches with them. Like find that commonality with them. Let them see that from you.
And you can hint at that and allude to that in your pitch. Hey, I've had all these challenges and I want to share what I've learned and hear from you as well. And I have some really positive takeaways that we all can that I think you can benefit from, things like that. And then weave it in. That's going to instantly build a rapport and make for a great presentation.
Yes. So now that brings us to the end. And at this point, we would love to, talk a little bit more, see if you have questions, because at this point, we're hoping that you will go in and submit your pitches and we would love to see this number go up.
And the one thing I do want to also point out is you can have lots of different types of presentations. Again, we mentioned that you could do a panel. You can co-present with multiple people. You can do like a hackathon. You can do lots of different things. So, really explore. And you can actually go back and look at previous events to see what other people have done to get ideas. But let's open it up. Any questions from people? Anything you haven't had a chance to ask yet? Does anybody want to share an idea of something that they might be, considering pitching?
Dan, Lisa, thank you so much for this session. This has been very helpful and encouraging. I was wondering if, I think there's a lot of content already there around AI. But I think, and this is I'm just throwing this out there because I was thinking about this while I was attending the session, is about resilience, right? Like how do How do we think about resilience in the new age and resilience in
Mhm.
different ways, right? It's like your mental strength. People are losing jobs, you're job searching. There's more stress. AI is changing everything at such a dynamic pace that more than anything, it's about the mental resilience that we need
Yeah.
to get stronger at. So for me, and shares on the call as well, I do a lot of meditation and that supports me.
Mhm.
But different people can think about different ways in which they can build that strength, because I think if AI is going to take our jobs, we really need mental resilience. So that was something that I was thinking about.
I actually really love that, and I think that you should continue fleshing that idea out more, because I think there's something there, because I
Oh,
think
yeah.
it's mental resilience in the current job market. It's mental resilience around the fears people have on AI in their jobs, but also in the product space, there's mental resilience. Just my launch got pushed out 3 times. Like, what do I do? We're now pivoting, and now we're like, I'm experiencing that right now. I have 5 launches. We're also gearing up for our customer conference, and all that's going on at once, right up against each other. And then dates have started shifting. And so the product team is stressed. I'm stressed. We're all like, how do we do all these things at one time? That's a lot of mental resilience on top of everything else you just said. You know,
Right.
I think you've got an angle there that
Oh, yeah.
is really interesting. I would
Yeah,
keep
and
developing that.
you could even go beyond just resilience and say and have something around the essential non AI skills in the age of AI. And I think
Oh,
resilience is one.
yes.
And there's so many other ones like facilitation.
Mhm.
Again, because there's certain jobs that are in the crosshairs of AI and taking your jobs. But if you can master AI and the part that's going to
Mhm.
take care of, that's going to do the aspects of your job that, are in the crosshairs, and you augment all of those other skills, that's going to allow you to be more valuable, because you're like, hey, I've delegated all of that. I now can do all of those other important strategic things, managing customers, managing
Mhm.
teams, communicating with stakeholders. So what are the essential non-AI skills needed in the age of AI? Something like that. And resilience obviously is going to be like one of
Mhm.
them. So I
Or
love
like
that
staying
idea.
human in the age of AI or something.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, honestly, this would be one I would check out for sure. I'm loving it.
Yeah. Tyler, what are you thinking about presenting?
Hey, hi everybody. I'm Tyler.
Hi,
And
Tyler.
yeah, nice to see you again, Lisa, and Dan as well, and all the other folks that I've met in the past. So I'm in so I think I've just hit the 6 month mark of my second job search. The first one was about a year without a job during COVID, and I'm thinking about talking about like how they're similar, how they're different, where I think that this is like that was an employee heavy market, whereas we are definitely in an employer heavy market. And
Mhm.
referrals are not working like they were before. But most of the interviews that I've gotten past the first round have been from just going to a networking event, meeting someone that's about
Mhm.
to post a job, kind of a deal. And I feel like that's something
Mhm.
that's maybe under recognized. So that's the direction that I'm kind of thinking about here. I think that I have a unique perspective because I've worked at some great companies and everything, but I'm still struggling like a lot of other people are in terms of getting more than like one interview every other week. And so I think that that's kind of like a shared empathy kind of thing, and
Mhm.
that's overall kind of where I'm thinking. And I don't know if it would be better for me to kind of talk about my experience like alone, or if there may be like someone else that has like a similar kind of thing. Like I, for one, don't have a technical background, but I was thinking if there's someone that does have a technical background, maybe their experiences would be slightly different. But overall, just comparing the job markets and leveraging the in-person pieces in addition to staying up to date on the AI stuff is the session that I'm thinking about.
So Tyler, I'll tell you, I did a panel discussion one year, and
Mhm.
it was all about the product job club, and we talked about what it is,
Mm.
why, and everyone shared their story. It was the original Product Job Club because we did it for 3 months. There was 10 people. 9 of us either got a job offer, a new job, a promotion, and then the 10th person decided to start their own business. So it was very successful. But that panel discussion with a facilitator, I just facilitated the conversation. It was great. It was huge attendance and it won an award. So maybe consider that. I think pairing up with other people, I think it would be so many incredible, really, really valuable.
Yeah, I like that. And I think that, this is something that came up at Tactic Tuesday last night. Is one of our volunteers, she said, this is a conversation I have to have with my mother all the time, who's like, well, why don't you try this with your job search? And she's like, and I have to constantly go, Mom, the job market right now is not the job market of 1990. Like the job market right now is not the job market of 2022. It's not the job market of 2020. Like, so I think you're onto something there, and it could make for a really interesting conversation. So I like that panel idea.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I think that I haven't presented before, but some of the superpowers that I have are some of the storytelling, and I haven't really had that many opportunities to showcase that. I think that the moderator kind of piece is not necessarily like presenting my experience, but maybe that could be kind of like a hybrid kind of thing. But
you could always find a partner that you tag in could be the moderator so that you can be a panelist too.
Yeah.
I think about like that. Yeah,
it's fine. Have somebody volunteer to be the moderator just to facilitate, figure out what your main topics are going to be for the screen, and then what questions are going to ask. Anyway, you and I can talk about this.
Thank you.